Inside the craziest life of Elon Musk. Elon Musk, this person is so talented. Some say he is very hardworking, and on the other hand, some people say he is really crazy. So, do you know what's inside the craziest life of Elon Musk? A recent headline grabber was the announcement of the first paying passenger for his SpaceX venture to fly around the moon. He has a number of pioneering achievements to his name, including creating online payment platform PayPal, running electric car maker Tesla, as well as SpaceX. His innovative and wide-ranging interests include solar energy and artificial intelligence, a high-speed travel system involving tubes and magnets, plus he has designs on Mars. So welcome back to Money Future. Today, in the next few minutes, I am going to take you inside the craziest life of Elon Musk. So make sure to watch the video till the end. This year, things seem to have turned sour for the tech entrepreneur. In August, he startled investors with a tweet saying he was considering taking Tesla private, having secured funding. 2 weeks later, he said he had ditched the plan, spurring unhappy investors to launch a lawsuit against him. Then, in September, he was ordered to step down as Tesla chair and pay a $20 million fine, and a deal struck with U.S. regulators over tweets he posted about taking the firm private. Tesla appointed board member and telecom executive Robin Denholm as chair. The Tesla Roadster in Earth orbit before it headed towards Mars. His erratic behavior, alongside colorful public outbursts, including dope smoking on a webcast, public whiskey drinking, not something they like to see in a buttoned-up U.S., and accusing one of the divers who rescued the Thai football team marooned in a cave in Thailand of being a pedophile, a claim that has resulted in a lawsuit, has caught the world's attention. Where did Musk come from? He was born in Pretoria, South Africa. Growing up, he was obsessed with science fiction novels and anything to do with electricity, a perfect platform for his current ventures. At the age of 17, Musk moved to Canada to study physics and economics before heading to the U.S. in 1992 to further his studies. Musk did not found Tesla. His name is the one associated with the company. After bagging the proceeds from the PayPal sale, Musk poured his fortune into SpaceX and Tesla, which he led as chairman before becoming chief executive in 2008. That turned out to be a bad year. SpaceX suffered a third rocket crash, and rising costs threatened to ruin Tesla. But despite the phenomenal technological achievements and exciting innovations, his companies have missed deadline after deadline and recorded huge losses. His private life is pretty interesting, isn't it? As well as the dope smoking and Twitter outbursts, he has also been married 3 times, twice to the same woman. His first was to Justine Wilson, who appropriately enough was a fantasy writer. He married to Lula Riley in 2010, but they divorced in 2012. The following year, the couple remarried. In 2014, he filed for, but then withdrew a second divorce application. 2 years later, Ms. Riley did the same, and the couple went their separate ways. Musk has also been linked with Amber Heard and Cameron Diaz. Robert Downey Jr. took inspiration from him to play Tony Stark in Iron Man. He is said to be a relentless worker. When he founded Zip2, he reportedly worked all day, slept in the office, and showered across the road at the YMCA. Last month, in an emotional interview with the New York Times, in which Musk said he worked 120-hour weeks and sometimes took the sleeping pill Ambien to combat insomnia. The universal theory of Musk. Throughout Elon's evolution, I struggle to find one event that would define him. There are so many ups and downs that I couldn't just point to one moment and say, yep, he's a jerk because of this, or yep, he's someone we should aspire to because of that. I had to look at the totality of his life in order to make sense of it all. What was clear throughout the book is that Elon operates differently than most other successful people today. Jeff Hammerbacher, an early Facebook engineer, claims that the best minds of our generation are thinking about how to make people click ads. And Elon agrees with him, saying, I think there are probably too many smart people pursuing internet stuff, finance, and law. That is part of the reason we haven't seen that much innovation. But it's this statement that reveals Elon isn't after these little innovations. He's always in pursuit of his larger purpose. I would like to die thinking that humanity has a bright future. If we can solve sustainable energy and be well on our way to becoming a multi-planetary species with a self-sustaining civilization on another planet, I think that would be really good. Quote, Elon Musk. In the final paragraph of the biography, the author ends with, I asked Musk directly just how much he was willing to put on the line. His response, everything that other people hold dear. I would die on Mars. If my wife and I had a bunch of kids, she would probably stay with them on Earth. Seeing Elon in this light connects a lot of dots. The objective of the video game he created as a kid was to save the world from an alien space freighter. In college, he wrote papers detailing his plans for sustainable energy in order to ensure that civilization can continue to progress. Even the founding of all of his businesses were not driven by lucrative desires, but rather he was working to create a system of interconnected companies that can help our species in the short term as well as in the long term. As a boy, Elon had an insatiable appetite for learning. He would often read a book a day. His most remarkable achievement came after he convinced his dad to buy him a Commodore VIC-20, which is an old-ass computer. According to the manual, it's supposed to take about 6 months to get through all of the basic lessons. He stayed up for 3 straight days and finished the whole thing. Then he designed an entire video game on it, the source code of which was published in a magazine, netting him $500. He was teased and bullied a lot growing up. Sometimes this went as far as physical violence. On one occasion, he was beaten up so badly that he blacked out and was hospitalized for an entire week. His dad seems to be darkest and most private aspect about his life. It appears that he may have been abusive, maybe not physically, but at least mentally. While Musk talked to the author about most topics, he refused to talk about his father, saying, "He's good at making life miserable. I don't know how someone becomes like him." He left South Africa on his own without anything or anyone. He went to Canada, where he stayed for a while, without a permanent home, until his brother met up with him. They made their way to Palo Alto and started their first business. Zip2 is basically MapQuest before MapQuest, which was Google Maps before Google Maps. It would end up selling for $307 million. Cha-ching. While Elon and his brother were able to create a successful company, they had problems with their investors' powers. The investors forced the product towards media companies as more of a business directory instead of the B2C direction that Musk had hoped. To make matters worse, Elon also experienced his first canceled merger catastrophe. #foreshadowing. Less than a decade after being essentially homeless in Canada, Elon was now Silicon Valley's latest rich guy. It's here we see the first signs of Elon potentially turning into a jerk. He purchased one of only 62 McLarens, a really expensive car, in the world. He drove it so much around the valley that he started to get a reputation for being a dick. Aside from the McLaren purchase, Elon poured all of his money into his next venture, a company that would change the banking industry. At the time, people said he was crazy and that consumers would never trust the security of the internet for online banking. His company, X.com, was more successful than anyone had ever thought possible. He even beat out his biggest competitor, PayPal, started by Peter Thiel, as they agreed to merge together, with Elon becoming the largest shareholder. Wait, I thought Elon founded PayPal, you might be thinking to yourself. Well, while Elon was on a plane beginning his honeymoon, one of the nastiest Silicon Valley coups of all time occurred. After the plane landed, he headed straight back to try to save it, only to be forced out as CEO. They later rebranded as PayPal. After another horrible merger process, Elon finally had some time to step back and go on his honeymoon. However, he ended up getting malaria in South Africa and almost died because of it. One doctor said he was a day away from dying. After 6 months and 45 pounds lost, he survived. This was just in time for eBay to purchase PayPal for $1.5 billion, netting Elon $250 million. Cha-ching! While this might sound like a great thing, a book entitled The PayPal Wars published right after the deal that painted Elon as the villain of the entire company. So guys, that's all for today's videos. If you like this video, then give the video a thumbs up and smash that subscribe button so that you will never miss any updates.